president of Pfizer talking about a pill that works in a very practical way. Just look.
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Funny, that was at the World Economic Forum too. So can these people be serious? Sure, serious like a pericarditis heart attack, serious like $1 trillion. That's how serious they are. So that's what the vaccine passport was about. That's what Trudeau's Arrive Can travel app is about. That's what digital ID is about. It's to connect it all. It's tracked on GPS, your location. And of course, the phone companies have already been handing over all of your data about where you have been going based on that GPS. They hand that over to the government too, even though they lie about it. Here's a story that popped up in the Toronto Star. This is very early in the pandemic. Governments aren't tracking your cell phone in the battle of COVID-19. They aren't. They might, but they aren't. All right, well, here's one from January of this year. Canada's privacy watchdog probing health officials' use of cell phone location data. And here's one from a month after that. Privacy commissioner, few realized the government was tracking their pandemic movements. Yeah, few realized it, of course, because the government lied about it and the media covered it up and called anyone who was skeptical a conspiracy theorist. So I think these things are connected. That's the nature of a network, the nature of the internet. What does all this mean? I think it means total surveillance, but also punishment if you get out of line. I mean, ask the hundreds of Canadians who had their bank accounts seized with no court order. Ask the thousands of people who tried to donate to the GoFundMe for the truckers, but the tech company blocked it on the demand of the government. That's what I mean, connected, link it all together. One digital ID system for everything, an everything card, where you are, how's your body, your most private details, your money, and give the power to the government to, I don't know, turn it off. Which brings me to the bill S7. Now you might say, don't bills in Parliament start with the letter C, like Bill C11? Well, that's when they're introduced in the House of Commons. Strangely, this government bill was introduced in the Senate, so it's got an S. An act to amend the Customs Act and the Pre-Clearance Act. I'm going to read from the summary of the law in the actual legislation. Summary. The enactment amends the Customs Act to A, clarify the circumstances in which border service officers may examine documents stored on personal digital devices. B, authorize the making of regulations in respect of those examinations. And C, update certain provisions respecting enforcement, offenses, and punishment. The enactment also amends the Pre-Clearance Act to A, clarify the circumstances in which pre-clearance officers may examine, search, and detain documents stored on personal digital devices. So let's say you're not carrying your master digital ID, but so much of your info these days is on your phone, right? Think about it. Well, turn it over. Seriously, turn over even your photos, turn over your emails, turn over your texts, your Facebook posts, everything, turn it over. No search warrant. Here's the new standard. It's a little bit long, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it slowly. I think it's important. And by the way, the words exported and imported means if you're leaving or entering Canada with these things, just a little clarification. Okay, this is from the bill, S7. Documents or personal digital device at any time up to the time of release or at any time up to the time of exportation, An officer designated under subsection 2 may, in accordance with the regulations, examine documents, including emails, text messages, receipts, photographs, or videos that are stored on a personal digital device that has been imported or is about to be exported and is in the custody or possession of a person if the officer has a, get this, reasonable general concern. Oh, what's that? That this act or a regulation made under it has been or might be contravened in respect of one or more of the documents. B, any other act of Parliament that prohibits, controls, or regulates the importation or exportation of goods and is administered or enforced by the officer. Any regulation made under the act has been or might be contravened in respect to one or more of the documents. I'm almost done. Or C, one or more of the documents may afford evidence in respect of a contravention under this act or regulation made under it, or any other act of Parliament that prohibits, controls, or regulates the importation or exportation of goods and is administered or enforced by the officer or any regulation made under the act. Okay, I'm sorry, that's a lot of words. It's a lot of words. But what it's saying is they just have to have a general concern that there's something on your phone, and they demand to look at it. And don't think you can stop them. Don't think you can deny them access. Don't think you can say, yeah, try and hack it, buddy. I'll read to you. Penalty for hindering an officer. Give me your password. No, here's the penalty, buddy. Every person who contravenes section 153 is guilty of an offense. Punishable and on summary conviction and liable to a fine of not more than $10,000 or imprisonment for a term not more than 6 months, or both. So don't think that you can't deny them, you can just deny them the password. And by the way, you're guilty of an indictable offense, and you can be liable to a fine of not more than $50,000 or imprisonment for not more than 5 years, or to both. Imagine 50 grand and 5 years in prison for not letting them into your cell phone. That was an excerpt from my daily TV-style show called The Ezra Levant Show. Each weekday, I do a monologue on the news of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest. I read some fan mail or hate mail, depends on which I like more. And we end with a video of the day. You can get it all at rebelnewsplus.com.